Warren Montoya, who is the creator of Rezonate Art, LLC. And when Gabby, Kyle, Christelle Ciarza and I were in Farmington to meet with the Marion Family Foundation and also to do a workshop on lending for San Juan Community College, Gabby, you were wearing a piece of Warren's artwork, or his jewelry. No, it was another client. But he does do jewelry. And I don't know what it was about, she wasn't wearing with one of your pieces, but when we got to talking about that particular client, she started to talk about you and how inspiring Warren's story is. And what's also interesting about Warren, for those of you who know we've been talking about Alvin Warren, who works with the Kellogg Foundation, who we've been working with. You all two are cousins, is that right? Did I get?
That's correct.
Yay, I got 1 out of 2, 50%. So, welcome. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. So, I guess I can stand. So
sure, if you want, or if you want to sit, whatever's most comfortable.
I can stand, it's fine.
Okay,
I'm
great.
actually kind of fidgety, so it's all right.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to meet everybody, and everybody on screen. Yeah, so thank you for having me today, and I didn't know there was so many incredible people that worked for this organization. It's pretty inspiring, so thank you for having me, and I'm excited to share what I do, and thank you for just being dedicated to what you are all trying to accomplish. So,
Thanks.
Well, first, I guess I can introduce myself. My name is Warren Montoya, and I am from Santa Ana in Santa Clara Pueblos. And yeah, I've always really lived in New Mexico, always been an artist, and got a BA in art from Fort Lewis College. And really, I think, of course, you know, I was inspired by my own work to just try and create a business around it. But finding that I was pretty good at making connections and building a network, I wanted to expand that for other artists that actually I believed in, specifically contemporary native artists. And when I'm talking contemporary, there's this huge debate of what's contemporary, what's traditional, right? My focus is to really create conversation around a new medium and styles of artwork that Native Americans are doing now. So medium being like aerosol art, you know, people refer to it as graffiti sometimes, but now like huge murals, beautiful things are being created with this medium. Styles including like comic book art, right? There's a guy, his name is Jason Garcia from Santa Clara Pueblo. He creates these dynamic characters on like, it's not pottery, but it's clay, right? He paints them in the form of like action figures. So that's really exciting. So yeah, that's why I created Rezonate Art, is really to promote these new art forms and these artists that didn't really get recognized because they didn't fit into traditional arts. And I actually should have brought some visuals now that I think about it. But if you go on my website, resonateart.com, you could see a couple examples in the art. And with that, contemporary forms of jewelry. So I do hand-painted jewelry on
We're going to go on your website as we speak.
Cool.
Okay, good.
So I do hand-painted jewelry on wood. And,
That one I do have.
yes. I was thinking that you were just waiting for a gift, maybe. And also, so 2D art. If you go to just the art down there, takes a bit, but yeah. So like half of these are mine, and this piece on the right, the girl kind of standing in an action pose
Below.
on the right bottom.
Down below.
Yeah, so
That's amazing.
so this piece is really exciting. It's going to an exhibition in the Heard Museum this coming year. So the actual painting, and the actual painting is about this large. So I was really inspired by comics and of course newer mediums like graffiti, and so that's the point of Rezonate Art, is just to promote these styles and mediums. But now, rather than just selling products, I've pivoted our focus this past July into coordinating public arts projects and events. So right now I'm working on a few contracts as far as public arts murals, one for SIPI, the school, Southwestern Indian Polytechnic Institute. It's a mouthful. Right there on Paseo and Coors. And it's really exciting because they're building a Mars yard, a rover test facility, right? So they wanted this giant mural representing what the facility is about outside. So I've been working with them to coordinate like the imagery, but then also have like this type of style and then being representative of the tribes that go there. So that's really exciting, and you know, it's really professional. We have a contract, you know, service contract, a budget, all those pieces. It's stuff I've learned over the last few years, which was it's been a challenge, but really exciting. And Axion has been huge in helping me develop as a professional, as an entrepreneur. In that one, of course, you do amazing hands-on trainings. I've actually been to a couple of your trainings where I saw you speak.
Oh, good.
And yeah, those were really insightful, especially I like the intimacy about them. I like the ability to actually sit in a room and then feel like you're in a room with this person rather than like, you know, a football field away from them. Mm-hmm. So that's really exciting, the intimacy, and then actually being able to talk to them after and ask your own personal questions and like kind of connect with them, maybe even include them in your network if you can make that connection is really exciting. I, you know, of course have refinanced a loan, so I got what was it, unsecured it was called, right, beforehand, to really help start my business. And then I needed to expand it in a few different ways. So, yeah, I refinanced, and that was a really huge help. I actually went to a few lending, what do they call it? Like banks? What do you call it?
Financial institutions.
Sure, yeah. Financial institutions. And, yeah, I felt like Axion was the best option. I actually talked to, I came right before I got my first loan. I came to one of your mixers in front with a pizza.
Oh, yeah.
What's his
Yeah,
name?
Aroma Pizza.
Yeah, it was
pizza truck.
delicious too. That was that really helped convince me as well.
Food always makes a difference.
Right? So yeah, I really appreciate that you promote the people who are trying to create businesses, you know, in that way as well, by you know, using your network to really promote what they do. That's huge, because I don't think banks do that, right? So they're just like, here's the money, go get us our money back, right? That's the main idea that I came across. So I really like that Axion is invested in building community and just, you know, supporting the economy, or local economy. So yeah, I mean, really, I'm just appreciative to have found Axion, and I actually tell people to come and talk to you. So other entrepreneurs. So
good. Do you mind if we ask you a couple of
Yes,
questions? And you
definitely.
might have noticed you're on video, so I hope
Yeah,
that's okay. Because we put these on YouTube and on our website so that different folks, you know, clients like yourself or would-be entrepreneurs can see what you've accomplished and hear your story. So would anybody like to ask Warren a question? Meta?
Yes.
How did you hear about Axion?
I think it was actually, I saw it from a couple different places. So of course I saw, I subscribed to different newsletters like West and other financial institutions and such. So I think that was one of the ways. And then I got into this other program, which is when I presented with Axion in New Mexico Community Capital in Gallup. That's the program I was in, and then they actually recommended to check out Axion as well. They provided me a mentor through there, so he also told me, hey, you should go check these guys out. So
That's a good program.
yeah, people have you in the back of their minds, I think a good amount, so that's really cool.
Good. Anne?
Warren, going back to the beautiful piece, I think it was Courage. Was it
Hard Courage?
Hard Courage. Could you talk about that? And I wonder if you could flip it back up on the screen.
Yeah, we need to share it out.
Yeah, it's riveting. Like,
Thank you.
what went through your mind and the genesis?
My professional experience actually has to do with nonprofits. And originally, I started this company because I wanted to create a funding mechanism, I guess you can call it, for actual projects and community workshops, right? So I had this idea of taking taking my knowledge in nonprofits back to my community, starting a program there to help youth specifically, and using art as a tool to do that. So one of the things I learned in nonprofits is that, you know, you constantly have to be searching for funding and for resources. So that's why I started a business, is I wanted to create that resource rather than having to go seek it all the time. And little by little, I'm learning how better to do that. And so, going back to your original question, in nonprofits, we really discuss like resiliency skills, strength-based ideas, and that's where my newer art forms came from, is like really discussing the power of Native people today, not in history, because that's done huge amount, right? Still not enough, but huge amount. But I wanted to talk about people I knew. So this is actually my friend Tashina. I took this picture myself that I referenced, and you know, she actually has her traditional dress on. She was kind of embellished. She had a cool necklace and other stuff. But we went out. I had this idea to represent a Native woman like this, and she's Diné, she's Navajo, and she's holding a weaving stick and a brush. So I wanted to show the traditional. I'm really interested in showing the traditional as well as the new, right? Mm-hmm. So I juxtaposed like the idea of this, you know, traditional looking woman, you know, in the background, just like really exploding with newer contemporary feelings. So yeah.
Love the explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so glad we have this on tape. And we actually have to complete now. Is there maybe one? I know. And maybe we can bring it back to the screen just to see if there's somebody on the screen who wanted to ask a question. Anybody in Arizona, Colorado? Aaron, is Aaron on the phone? Or did somebody just come on the phone? Brianna? Anybody who would like to ask a question of Warren? Or one last person in here before we complete? Okay, great. Warren, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll walk out.